Well, here we go. Week 6 of the NFL season is in the books, and we've got a little trend going here, Mark, of head coaches with number 1 overall picks that just do not last and get the axe. The latest victim in this case is Brian Callahan of the Tennessee Titans, who got fired this past week after a loss. And it was kind of funny because a lot of people were like, well, yeah, they couldn't fire him the week before because he got that win. And so they're like, oh, shoot. All right, we got to extend it another week here. But yeah, they start 1-4, and Brian Callahan is out. Cam Ward is on pace, for what it's worth, to have 70 to be sacked 71 times this season, which would
break
be the
Caleb's
most
record.
Yeah, it'd be the third most in NFL history. But you mentioned Caleb's record there, and especially now with the 17-game season, things are a little skewed. I mean, no one's going to catch up to David Carr at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating stuff. David Carr, by the way, 76 sacks.
So I was hoping I didn't know if we were going to talk about about him getting fired right off the bat, or when we would talk about it maybe when we got to the game. So I'm just going to bust these stats out here now. I did a couple like stat stories, I'm calling them. I try to do this every week where it's like the stat tells the story, right?
Yeah.
The story is Brian Callahan getting fired. The stats are Cam Ward's been sacked 25 times. That's most in the NFL. He has 3 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions. Think about how much criticism Caleb got as a number 1 overall pick last year. Well, his stats were better than that through that stretch, and his head coach did eventually get fired. Cam Ward is also last in passing yards, 1,101 for played 6 games. So in 6 games, 3 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, only 1,100 yards.
For a team that had to pass quite a bit too.
Yes, and to put that in perspective, Justin Fields has 4 touchdown passes and did miss a game. So
and has been putrid.
Yes, so. and 0 interceptions. And so I also, if you look at his net pass like per completion, I think it's under 6 yards, which is like puts him in the bottom 30th of guys who qualify for that stat. Like I think it's below 32. He's even at that point in time. So they're not pushing the ball downfield. There's nothing explosive about it. And if you remember Cam Ward, what made him so attractive was he was an explosive player. He exploded onto the scene at Miami, especially. I mean, he was putting up numbers. But then last year it was all about deep balls, explosive plays for that Miami offense. And it's just not there at all. You cannot waste a number 1 pick. He's got the talent. He's got the size. He's not Anthony Richardson, right? Like we feel like he can do this. He has a ton of starts in college. So clearly it's the Titans believe on the coaching staff. And since the Titans traded A.J. Brown, their whole organization has just been not in sync with people being fired, like a head coach being fired, a GM, then a GM being hired, then a head coach. It's been out of sync. And hopefully now they can get some stability and someone in sync. I saw that Arthur Smith and Matt Nagy were the early favorites to be the head coach of the Titans.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. That's got to be a little scary if you're a Titans fan. Now, Arthur Smith had success there as an OC, but aren't exactly stellar.
And you know what could Arthur Smith do with a quarterback like Cam Ward? He certainly hasn't had a quarterback with that talent level at his disposal. Ryan Tannehill then obviously had the Kirk Cousins deal,
and maybe
in Atlanta, but
and maybe Matt Nagy, this is his chance for a second, his redemption arc. You know what I mean? Kind of a similar situation. You're brought in to save the first quarterback taken in a draft. Didn't go well with Mitch.
I mean,
we'll see if maybe it goes better with Cam.
I wonder if Joe Brady gets his hat back in the ring there. I know that he wasn't listed as an early favorite, but certainly a guy that's been talked about for a couple years and hasn't gotten over the hump to get hired. He might be back in play potentially now, but it is fascinating that, we know that every year coaches get fired early. This one did catch me a little bit off guard just because I thought the leash would have been a little bit longer, because once ownership kind of switched over in Tennessee, I thought they were going to go with a more stabilizing route, but instead now it's, the carousel once again of the
Yeah.
GM head coach hiring and firing cycle. We'll see how much longer their next GM and next head coach last in this system. But it is wild to think that they could have Mike Vrabel as their head coach right now. They could have AJ Brown on the team and potentially Cam Ward. Although they probably wouldn't have been bad enough to get Cam Ward, but
And don't worry, the Titans play the Patriots coming up this week.
yeah, exactly. There's no revenge element there. So, yeah, really uh, tough news there for Brian Callahan and company after just a season and a few games as head coach there in Tennessee. We get into our Week 6 recap right now. Well, I got to tell you, I wasn't really excited for Thursday Night Football between the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Thought this was going to be kind of a stinker. And I didn't even think the Philadelphia Eagles were going to blow the lid off the Giants. Honestly, I didn't, but I just thought it was going to be like a 20-7 game or something like that. But no, the Giants come out and win, Mark, in pretty impressive fashion, 34-17 over the rival Eagles. The Eagles are now 4-2 after starting the season 4-0. We'll get to their counterpart in the AFC in just a few minutes. But yeah, Philly didn't look very good in this game. They didn't run the ball effectively. And Cam Scatterbo has just taken over the backfield there. He and Jackson Dart, the rookie duo there, igniting a spark for New York. Whether or not it's going to last, Mark, is another thing. But I mean, are you buying kind of the hype right now that's surrounding the New York Giants? And are you also buying the dip on the Philadelphia Eagles?
That's a great question. I'm not buying the hype because I think that listen, it was week 3 of Dart and Scatterbo kind of taking over. And there was a really ugly loss in between the two wins for Dart and Scatterbo. So I think we're wait and see, kind of like I'm just gonna hold my stock buying and see if we can get some consistency. It was a really good win. I think it was a really kind of momentous win for a Brian Daboll head coach. Talk about a guy in the hot seat and maybe a coach being fired. You can hang your hat on that one. You can go to ownership and say, we're building something. If I'm Brian Daboll, though, you've got to start to walk this line now of I need my young quarterback to save my career and to save my job and to save this season and to show promise. But I also need him to not dive head first into defenders as opposed to sliding or getting out of bounds.
Probably don't want to spear your way through the defense.
Jackson Dart, he needs to hang out with Cam Scatterbo just a little less. Like, he needs to hang out with Kirk. They need to get Kirk Cousins to that building and show him how to hey, dude, you can go to Kohl's and take a sack here. If you want Jackson Dart to be your starter in New York for the next 10 years, which I would imagine New York fans at this point want. Maybe they don't. Maybe he is just this kind of spark for a couple years, but it doesn't seem sustainable. It's fun to watch right now. I worry about sustainability. 13 rushes, 58 yards, the touchdown. Efficient through the air, 195 yards, touchdown, 17 of 25. He's throwing to
nobody.
Guys who Wan'Dale Robinson and Lil Jordan Humphrey combined for 10 catches, 139 yards, and a touchdown. Lil Jordan Humphrey, obviously, if you're a college football fan, was a big name at Texas, and he's kind of bounced around, but maybe they're finding their home. They're
going to have to run the football really well. That's going to be how they win games, right?
Yes. And as far as Philly goes, listen, this is a 20-17 game at half. The Giants have a 3-point lead. Okay, you're coming off your first loss. You're a little bit punched in the mouth. The game is still completely in front of you if you're Philadelphia. Dan, they come out in the second half, and Philly goes 3 plays, 4 yards, punt, 4 plays, 8 yards, punt, 3 plays, 8 yards, punt, 5 plays, 51 yards, interception.
Yeah.
And remember that sequence, because we're going to talk about the Bills at the very end of the show. And I think what's happening with Philadelphia and the Bills right now is very, very similar. Extremely talented teams with a ton of pressure and a ton of expectations that are hitting a little bit of a slump. I'm not panicking if I'm either one of the teams, but you definitely want to look yourself in the mirror. Luckily for the Bills, their bye week comes at this time. I mean, if you're the Eagles, you got a tough matchup. You're at the Vikings next week, a team that's coming off of a bye and is going to be probably going back to their young quarterback needing a good performance. Listen, it was an ugly end of the game for Philadelphia. You're down by 3 going into the third quarter, and you end up losing by 17. Credit to the Giants for getting this win at home. They put up 34 points on that Philly defense. I know that Philly was dealing with some injuries. Jordan Davis, I believe, wasn't playing in that game. And so
I think they're
I'm
going to
not
be
panicking,
okay, but they're just not. They're probably this year not going to be this dominant team the whole season, right? They're gonna have weak
rushes for 58 yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's just not nothing.
characteristic.
The offense doesn't feel right now at all, and that's a problem. The Giants, they're at the Broncos next week. That'll be now a really interesting matchup. A Broncos team that did not play well. We're about to talk about them.
Yeah.
The Giants team that seems to be arrow pointing up.
Yeah, a Broncos offense that has not looked good for a solid portion of this season so far. A 13-11 victory for them over the New York Football Giants. 0-6, or I'm sorry, I said Giants. Of course, I meant the Jets. The Jets are 0-6. Justin Fields has looked really, really bad within this offense. Not seeing the field well. Some of the old issues with Justin have come to surface once again of hanging onto the football for way too long. But he's struggling now to find lanes to run as well because teams are keying in entirely on that aspect of the game. And I will say the bigger takeaway for me, because I just didn't feel the Jets were going to be very good this year. I thought they were certainly going to be better than the 0-6 product we've seen. The bigger story to me, Mark, is that the Broncos barely won a game against a really bad team. And despite their defense, which is very good, the Broncos have a top 5 defense in the NFL right now. 9 sacks of Justin Fields in this one. Despite a dominant effort, this offense and the Jets defense has not played well at all this year. This offense mustered 13 points, 10 of which came in the first quarter. They didn't do anything for the vast majority of this game. Bo Nix has looked just out of sync with some of his players. There are a couple overthrows on wide open receivers here. He wasn't able to connect with Cortland Sutton nearly as much as he had early on. They weren't running the ball effectively with J.K. Dobbins. I think there's a lot wrong right now with this Broncos offense.
Yeah, and what the crazy thing is, as you said, the 10 points they scored early, but Nick's actually played better in the second half. So it's like,
well, yeah, yes, he did.
It's really not great for Denver's offense. Do I blame London or do I blame the kind of early season struggles? I think it was a perfect storm for the Broncos to play poorly. The Jets were absolutely desperate. I thought they put a better defensive game plan and effort together. And then you add the fact that the London games kill teams. They kill momentum. The Broncos are coming off their biggest win of the season, a giant momentum shift for them. And they have to travel across the pond. Their body clocks get all out of sorts. And then you play a desperate team.
They had been there all week, though, to be fair.
Yes, but it's still just not the same, right?
Yeah,
it's
definitely
just not the same.
Not.
I think there's a lot to play. I'm not panicking if I'm a Broncos team. I'm also not putting the Broncos like in my top 10. I know that seems maybe crazy, but they're a 4-2 team, but I don't have the same vibes about their 4-2 as some other teams, or maybe even 3-2 or 3-3 or other 4-2 teams. Listen, Justin Fields, the 9 sacks, that's to me the concern that's coming back from the Chicago days. Like, the offensive line takes some blame, right? But Justin Fields holds onto the ball, and it's horrible to watch because I'm such a fan and I want him to do well. But it just – you're not finding Garrett Wilson, 3 catches, 13 yards. Now he's going to miss a couple weeks, it sounds like. Cortland Sutton not getting involved, 1 catch for 17 yards. That's a real indictment on Bo Nix because he's a true number 1, Cortland Sutton. Listen, this is an ugly game. It was a gross one. You want to bury the tape if you're both teams, but if you're the Broncos, at least you're flying home with a victory. I will say, for the Broncos, really quickly, the one thing that I will be interested in as they try to now battle in the AFC West, as the Chiefs have kind of sprung back to life, the Chargers kind of stopped the bleeding, is that yes, Nick Bonito and that defense is truly, truly special. But right now, the Broncos feel like of the three teams in the AFC West that are competing, if you had to score 30 points in the game, I'm going to trust them the least to score 30 points. And they're the ones with Sean Payton and this promise of this kind of reworked, second year of the Sean Payton offense with Bo Nix and having, adding depth at the wide receiver through the draft, getting J.K. Dobbins in there, improving their offensive line. So early season struggles certainly are a concern, but it's not a panic. Broncos are at home against the Giants in not a must win, but certainly it's going to be now a very interesting game. 3 weeks ago, that was an interesting game. It is now. And the Jets are home against the Panthers, which is interesting because we'll talk about the Panthers. They're a terrible road team and a fantastic home team. So we'll see if the Panthers can carry momentum onto the road against the 0-6 Jets, who are desperate for a win to get the vibes heading in some sort of positive direction.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder also what this signals for Aaron Glenn and company, because you got to remember too, like a lot of people are going to bring up Dan Campbell's, that team won 3 games, right? And so, there's going to be parallels drawn just because he came from Detroit, but this does have a different feel because they have a lot of guys on the Jets roster. That early first year with Detroit was a lot of who are these?
Dan, to me, the biggest difference between the vibes for Detroit and the vibes for the Jets, because I agree, I think there's a lot of similarities. That first year with Campbell, first year with Aaron Glenn. The Detroit Lions had Jared Goff, and they had a quarterback who was still playing efficient football, and you could tell it wasn't his fault. It was like there's nothing else around him, but the guys were rallying around him. Yeah. In New York, it feels a little bit like the quarterback is just not good enough. And the guys, Justin Fields, to his credit, one of the things that's made him stick around this long in the league is that guys seem to really love Justin Fields. And I don't blame them.
Teammate. Yeah.
It doesn't, the vibes in New York, I'm certainly not getting this whole, like, everyone's sticking up for Justin. So that to me is like the number one difference if I'm a Jets fan, why I'm not necessarily buying the comparison to Dan Campbell's first year.
Yeah, it might not be a cohesive team, and that does kind of reflect on the leadership. The Colts are continuing to roll 5-1. Hard-fought game against the Arizona Cardinals, who were led by Jacoby Brissett. How about the second half for Jacoby Brissett? Looked great. Really helped lead this team, and this really was a story about the second half because it was a 14-10 game in the first half, and then it was just score after score after score. Alternating drives there in the entire second half, but the Cardinals end up coming short. Jonathan Taylor, puts the team on his back. Daniel Jones has another efficient, solid day overall. Jonathan Taylor playing like probably the most complete back in the NFL so far this year. He leads the league in yards. And Tyler Warren emerging as one of the top tight ends in the league already. And Daniel Jones playing within that Shane Steichen system. This was a huge bummer for Arizona because they had an opportunity and it looked like they were going to pull off the win mark, which would have gotten them to 3-3 and still really fighting in that NFC West. Now they're lucky the 49ers also lost. We'll get to that later too. But this seemed like a division that was going to shape up to start to be toe-to-toe the entire way. Arizona may be falling behind a little bit here too. Obviously it's early, but that's a game. If you're Arizona, you're like, man, we were so close. We had it. And now you're looking at 2-4.
A lot of people, I'm hearing Daniel Jones MVP talk. Daniel Jones has thrown less touchdown passes than Bryce Young this year. Now, that's not to be, I'm not trying to hate on Daniel Jones. He's been very good. He's been Darnold in Minnesota, Baker in, he's been, you should sign him to a 3-year, $100 million contract. He's your guy for at least the next 3 years. Good. It really has credit to him. I think a lot of us are predicting like when will it fall off. I just don't know now at this point if it's going to fall off. They improved to 5-1. But Jonathan Taylor is the entirety of the Colts' success offensively. Without Jonathan Taylor, everything for Daniel Jones gets so much more difficult. Now, Daniel Jones playing competent quarterbacking with throwing the ball has also helped open things up for Jonathan Taylor. But I do think it's more Jonathan Taylor being such a weapon has also made it easier for Daniel Jones. I'm beyond impressed by Jonathan Taylor. He's got over 600 yards rushing through 6 games. One other person is in the 500s, and then everyone else is below 500. So he is running literally away with the lead. Kwity Paye, a nice defensive effort, 2 sacks. Couple of them, one of them came up big when they needed it to. This game was 24-24 back and forth in the fourth quarter or at the start. Like, this was a close game. This was not the Colts got to a big league, the Cardinals came back. This was a back and forth game the whole time.
Shot for shot.
Marvin Harrison Jr. left with a concussion. Trey McBride he has to be in discussion for best tight end in the NFL right now. The numbers, easily. The importance to the offense. DeMarcado, 1 rush for 1 yard. So yes, Gannon got the fine. Gannon got the fine. DeMarcado got his own comeuppance in this game. I heard a stat. I don't know exactly it, but I think I know it's something like Kyler Murray only has 1 game in his Cardinals career in which he threw over 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett did 320 and 2 touchdowns in the start. So again, that's not me saying Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray, but Dan, the stats tell the story. The stat stories here. Kyler Murray, you talking about ranking for guys and yards per completion. He's 30th in the NFL, 6 yards of completion. To put it in perspective, number 1 in the NFL is Darnold with 9.6. And you see Darnold pushing the ball down the field big time with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Well, he's got his own star wide receiver from Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. And
McBride.
And it's a lot of dink and dunk, And Kyler, I think it's the biggest criticism right now of him being a star quarterback is that I just don't believe Kyler is the type of quarterback that can truly win the game down the field. Not like Allen, not like Mahomes, not like Lamar, not like Darnold is doing. He's behind Fields. He's behind Hurts. He's behind Geno. I mean, these are guys that we're being critical of openly, and Kyler's behind him. So that's, to me, what that stat story is, if you're looking for the criticism of Kyler. Big game for the Cardinals. They're home against Green Bay next week in kind of a do or die. Can you get to 3-4 and salvage the season? A Green Bay team that certainly hasn't looked like a juggernaut. We'll talk about them in a second. And the Colts, next up for them, they are at the Chargers. That could be big playoff implications for these two teams. I know it's only week 7, but truly that could be when they're battling for AFC playoff spots or positioning, head-to-head matchup, Colts at Chargers. That's going to be a big one.
Absolutely. No, it could have a lot of implications when we're looking back on in week 18 at this game coming up this week. Speaking of the Chargers, they improved to 4-2 with a late rally against the Miami Dolphins. Miami now getting beat late in games a couple of times already this season, despite some really solid efforts all around. Devon Achane, 8 yards a carry in this game, almost 130 yards and a couple touchdowns. But Tua Tagovailoa throws 3 interceptions in this game, and this was also a game that kind of brought out, some discussion from Tua and the rest, and Tua basically exclaiming that there's a leadership issue. Now, he was likely implying within the team itself, not necessarily the head coaches, but nonetheless, a lot of people are taking issue with him calling out the team, several teammates not showing up to meetings, etc. That's what he's citing as the reason. Meanwhile, the Chargers, Justin Herbert put on the hero cape late, made an incredible play, and then Ladd McConkey did the rest with the yards after catch on that, pivotal play to set them up with the game-winning field goal. What were your overall takeaways from this game? Did you feel like Miami has had their opportunities a couple times this year to pad that win column, and everything's been going wrong?
Well, my first takeaway from the game is, who's this Vita kid running the ball 18 times, 124 yards? The Chargers,
Yeah.
Harbaugh is not going to not run the football, and he's going to find guys. He's got no starting tackles, no of his 2 starting running backs. He's got no Quentin Johnson, and he scored 29 points on the road. That's credit to Harbaugh.
Tough game. Yeah.
Credit to Harbaugh. Credit to Herbert. Credit to Ladd McConkey for stepping up and kind of having his breakout game of the season. Herbert, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Listen, Dan, I can sit here and be really critical of Tua, and I'm one of the biggest critics of Tua. Not in the sense that Tua is a starting quarterback in the league, but again, critical of, I'm not paying guys like Tua, and I will always, 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 always side with the fans who feel that way, that you shouldn't overspend just because you have someone, that you have to spend for the right guy. Otherwise, just draft another one. Like, be willing to move on. Maybe I'm just so conditioned to it because the Bears have had to do it 3 times in the last, a couple of years. But it's just truly my sense on it. His first interception was not his fault. Waddle has to catch that ball. It's right there. He juggles it. It's a pick. So let's take that one off the board. The second pick was not good. And then the third pick, you're trying to make a play when you have very, very little time left after the Chargers kick a game-winning field goal. So one really bad pick in this game, I'll call it. But Dan, Tua had a chance late in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins are down 26-20. Tua goes 13 plays, 82 yards, throws the touchdown pass to Waller, 46 seconds left. He wins the game. And the defense gives up 6 plays, 44 yards. Justin Herbert, the magical play, finds McConkey. They kick a field goal. They win it. That's a season-ending loss. Like that, the Dolphins may win a couple more games this year, but that loss is like, when you look at, like, where did the Dolphins season end officially?
Yeah.
That play that Justin Herbert made to score that field goal. They had the game won. You score a game go-ahead touchdown with 46 seconds left at home. You have to win that game. And they didn't win the game. The Dolphins, they're at the Browns next week. That's an ugly game. I don't want to watch it. And then the Chargers are home, as we said, against the Colts. That's obviously a huge one. I will say this, too, and I wanted you to respond to this. Tua and Herbert, both paid, both the same draft class.
Yeah.
Neither this, like, night and day. Like, it's just night and day. It's night and day. And again, that film is what you should watch if you're an NFL fan trying to convince yourself to pay Brock Purdy, trying to convince yourself to maybe pay Bo Nix in a couple of years, trying to convince yourself, does Bryce Young get an extension? He threw 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys. That's the footage you have to watch. And then you have to say, I'd rather stomach just start over, go rookie contract, draft a guy, find me someone 6'3" with a big arm. Maybe he's going to spear people in the head, Jackson Dart, but he looks like an NFL quarterback that's capable of going toe-to-toe with anyone. Tua clearly does not.
There's probably a prideful aspect of it, too. I feel like a lot of coaches and GMs and franchises hate to see when a quarterback has success after leaving, right? I mean, it would just with how bad the Browns have looked throughout all of this, how bad the New York Giants could be looking right now.
Daniel Jones
season, especially.
The Jets have Geno and Sam that they let go.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just goes to show that I do think some teams are worried about that in the back of their head and believe that they can fix something.
But Dan, if you sign Baker Mayfield to another 3-year, $100 million guaranteed extension, If you're the Jets and you sign Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100 million extension and not the 5 years, $250 million, $200 million guaranteed like Tua gets, then you're going to be fine. Like, you won't regret it. Like,
Right. Because you
and
have
that's
time to get out of it. It's 2
and
years really. And then
yes, and again, it's like if I'm the Panthers, this draft class coming up is not looking great. But if you're stuck now, like, what do we do with Bryce Young? Pick up the 5th-year option, see what the draft class is like next year. And at the end of next year, if again he's shown improvement and maybe you win 8 games next year and you squeak into the playoffs, all right, then sign him to the 3-year, front load the money. But you cannot sign these undersized, accurate guys to this life-changing money and this franchise-changing money. You saw it in this game. It doesn't, and the math doesn't math when the other guy who's getting paid the exact same money is shrugging off defenders, looking like Hercules, throwing darts to win the game in your home stadium.
Yeah, the league is just way different nowadays, and the Russell Wilsons, the Drew Brees, those are so few and far between, and a lot of people like to think that they can, find that diamond in the rough. That diamond sometimes just isn't there, and so you got to keep moving forward. What do you make of the Patriots? They're 4-2 now. They're 3-0 on the road, Mark, and Drake May has been looking good. 3 first-half touchdown passes in this game against the Saints, and that was enough to win it. They end up taking it 25-19. I still kind of feel like Spencer Rattler's got something there in New Orleans because I just there's been a lot of his play that I think can translate and seems to be getting more and more confident. They're not going to win a lot of games. We knew that. But what do you think about these Patriots? It was just a 6-point win. Some people are doing backflips. But at the same time, his teams looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it's a 6-point win. I'll say, I will say, I feel good about the Patriots, mainly because, again, we said at the beginning of the year, and we're sticking to it. The schedule for the Patriots is wide open. I mean, they're at the Titans next week. They're going to be 5-2. My thoughts on Drake May is, from an outside perspective, you could say right now, remember, the picks in that draft, the 2024 draft, went 1 Caleb, 2 Jaden, 3 Drake. It was boom, boom, boom. It wasn't 1 and then 10 picks later and then 10. There's 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
They were the guys. Those 3 guys to me have separated a little bit from Nix, from McCarthy, from Penix Jr. You're seeing it. At the time of the draft and before the season started last year, everyone said Caleb's the guy, number 1 guy. At the end of last year, everyone said Jaden is the guy. Jaden's number 1.
Yeah. And Bo Nix is really, really good.
Yeah. And right now you would say of those 3 guys, well, Drake May's the guy. He's the guy you'd want. I will say this. I think you're going to see those 3 guys, those positions are going to jockey a lot for the next year or 2. I think that Drake May has a decided advantage in the sense that now he is with a head coach that has incredible pedigree. An offensive coordinator who's won how many Super Bowls
and worked with the greatest of all time.
In that place, right? Who doesn't have any more delusions of grandeur. He's happy to be, that's his spot, right? And he's with an organization that all accounts, besides a couple years where it got a little sloppy over the power grab between Bill and the ownership, has been the most solid organization since before 9/11. Like, I mean, like this is a huge advantage for him. Now, credit to him. He's taking advantage of it. He looks great. Big, strong, tall. What did we say? He looks like Justin Herbert. I think the one thing he's got going from a little bit more than Herbert at this point in his career is he's got a little bit more touch than Justin Herbert early in his career, right?
Yeah.
Like the rolling to his right, the kind of float ability he has in the ball versus Justin, everything's a rocket.
Yeah, it's like Trevor.
He's making guys like Kayshon Boutte 5 catches, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So you got to feel good. Listen, 11 penalties. They have things to clean up. That's why I think part of this game was the reason why the game was so close. They're at the Titans. They're going to be 5-2. The Saints are at the Bears. We'll talk about that a little bit more coming up. Listen, the Saints in the second half, as much as I'm with you, Rattler right now, if I'm a Saints fan, feels like I don't need to see Shook. I just need to stay with Rattler. 20 of 26, 277 yards. Him and Olave have a little thing going. Right now, Rattler looks like a better option than the quarterbacks coming out in the draft. So again, you're not paying him anything. So maybe you just keep building that roster up. But the Saints in the second half, punt, field goal, fumble, punt. Like,
yeah.
It's not great. It's not. So I'm not like, I don't want to be singing the praises, but
no, he's not lighting the world on fire, but he's showing competence.
For sure. I would agree. Right now, you can argue he plays just as good as week in, week out as a Bryce Young. Like, I mean.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's producing, and sometimes with less than a lot of the other guys too. The Pittsburgh Steelers win 23-9 at home over the Cleveland Browns. The AFC North, a combined 4 wins. The Steelers have 4 wins themselves. So Pittsburgh is sitting pretty right now in the divisional standings, and it's working in their favor, certainly. Encouraging game once again from the offense. It's pretty clear that this team is going to win by kind of reverting to zigging while the rest of the league zags. They have just tons of big guys on this team. They're going to try and establish the run more and more. And I think that the last few weeks we've seen the run game come alive. So that's been really encouraging. They're getting healthy. Aaron's making just super efficient throws. And so they're not putting themselves in harm's way hardly ever. And the defense, with its full wealth of talent at their disposal, they showed what they can do. Absolutely got after Dylan Gabriel. 31 pressures in this game on Dylan Gabriel, Mark. Isn't that crazy? Sacked 6 times, 2 of which came from Jalen Ramsey. They were able to rest the defensive starters in the final series even. So it was really good stuff. I'm going to keep saying this until it actually happens. I like it. I'm happy. No complaints so far. Really, really happy with what I've seen out there. Yeah. But I'm not going to react in a, man, this team's got something type of way until they actually beat a team that I feel matters. Now, they've beaten the Patriots. So, like, okay, that's the Patriots are looking like a pretty, solid team. But, they beat the Vikings with Carson Wentz. They beat the Jets that are looking terrible, barely by 2 points. And they just beat the Browns with a rookie quarterback. Like, I'm just not trying to remotely overreact to this because we've seen this story before. We'll find out when they play Green Bay, when they play the Colts, later when they play the Bears, Bills, Ravens, and the Lions later in the year too. Like, these are the teams where I want to see some fight. They're not going to win all of them, but can you get a win over the Bills? This is a style of team that you haven't beat. And I want to see it outside of the division, Mark. I know they can beat the Ravens. They've shown they can in the past. But can they beat the Lions? Can they beat the Bills? The Bears might be rolling by that point. Like, that's what I need to see to be fully convinced. But I'm liking where it's headed.
Dude, Darnell Washington and DK Metcalf, it's like unfair. They got Darnell involved.
Huge, man. I know. They need to do that way more often with Darnell too.
So
I just fun. Get him out in space.
He's
dude. He's so hard to tackle.
Dude, he's a freak show. It's like it's one thing we love is like guys. It's like simple. It's like that dude's huge. Like it's like, dude, he's huge. Like it's just cool. It's like that. It was just
hilarious watching people try to tackle him. If he's got full head of steam, it's
6'8", and he's ginormous,
320 pounds. Yeah.
And he moves well. He's 3 catches, 62 yards. Yeah, Rodgers very good. In watching this game, I just kept saying to myself, like, this is such a Mike Tomlin win where it's like, we're just fucking taking care of business. Like, this is a business trip, take care of business. And listen, Cleveland made it so easy on you. They asked Dylan Gabriel to throw 52 fucking times. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. I like Stefanski. I've been on the record. Like, we are pro Stefanski. What are we doing? Like, what are you doing?
Quinshon Judkins was a complete non-factor.
12 carries. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Like, I don't care if it's you're losing.
And it was 6-6 at the half. So it's like they abandoned the run so early.
No reason. It's just no reason. Jerry Jeudy, only 5 catches, 43 yards. Yeah, big. Next up for the Steelers at Cincy with some life with Joe Flacco. For the
In 2
Browns,
days.
For the Browns, Thursday Night Football. That's gonna be fun. Browns Dolphins. Listen, Browns Dolphins. The loser of that game, if it's the Browns and it's then I think you go Shador because and I'm the guy who said wait on Shador, but I think you go Shador just because it's like you're 1-6 and fans are going to get ravenous. And then if you, and let's be honest, I feel this way about Dylan Gabriel as I felt about Bryce Young and all the other guys I talked about. His ceiling is Tua, which is a guy I would only want to pay maybe $100 million for 3 years. Like that's his ceiling. Shador, little bit bigger. Maybe his ceiling is a little bit higher. Maybe his ceiling has a little bit more Geno Smith when he went to the Pro Bowl, like spark, right?
Sure.
But if you're the Dolphins and you lose that game, that could be the second coach fired. Because I will say the one thing the Titans did is now they put the rest of the league on alert that they're now recruiting. And they got a good pitch. They have the #1 overall pick from last year. And this is a class that is not going to have a great quarterback who's going to go who's going to be like a coach wants that guy. You know, Ben Johnson wanted Caleb Williams. Cam Ward is going to be way more desired than whoever comes out in this year's NFL draft. As of right now, no one has stepped up. So they have a good sales pitch. You're in a chaotic but kind of tough division. The expectations are fairly low. It's not Super Bowl or bust. And so if you're Miami and you would get embarrassed against the Browns, you may have to just say to yourself, we need to start getting in on the selling ourselves, sell off some pieces, get draft picks, and try to become an attractive destination in a division where you're looking up at Buffalo and New England.
Yep. No, very true. Before we move off of this game, did you see what Mike Tomlin said about Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, and their decision to trade Flacco?
No.
It was hilarious. I'm going to play it here on the show.
Okay, good.
Get your reaction to it. It's only 17 seconds, but Mike Tomlin's obviously a character and says a lot of stuff, but he never oversteps. A lot of people are reacting because he's basically calling him out like this was really dumb for you to do that, and we don't see that from head coaches very often. So here, I'll play this real quick.
Oh, it's muted. I can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it?
No.
Oh, well, I even chose the share the audio from it and everything. Well, that's unfortunate. Let me see if I can
give it another whirl.
Give it one more whirl here. Oh, it wasn't. Yeah, no, it was deselected for some reason. I think I may have deselected it when I thought I was selecting it.
It's a deselection.
Okay. Deselection. Okay, hold on. We'll give this another whirl here.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Dude, that's awesome.
Right? It's like, nicely done.
Oh, I love Mike Tomlin. Just his face. Like Mike Tomlin is.
You could tell he was so perplexed and pissed. He's like, "What are these people doing?"
Him and Mike Ditka are probably the best press conference quote coaches of all time. I mean, they're just. He is so special in his own way. That was awesome, and he's right. Like, I mean, it's a great call out. It's sarcastic, but it's so spot on. Like, because he's basically saying like "F you." Like. You just made it way tougher on everyone else. You could have just gone and got a guy and released Joe or kept Joe to mentor whoever, you know what I mean? But instead, you just
I get it, but at the same time, like, what are they supposed to like? I feel like if you're the Browns, you're like, if you can get something for Joe Flacco, then you get something for Joe Flacco. And maybe the only team that was willing to give you anything was the Cincinnati Bengals. At this point, you're like, we're not competing for the division. Joe's not going to be their quarterback next year. So like, what are we like? I think that was hilarious and that was really funny. I think Tomlin's probably just more pissed that he has to face Joe Flacco this week because Joe Flacco knows how to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
absolutely.
But I mean, I could see it both ways. But I think the Browns, if they were just able to get something, they were going to take it. All right, let's move on to the Panthers defeating the Dallas Cowboys 30-27. The gift that keeps on giving is the Carolina Panthers at home, as you mentioned, and Rico Dowdle, the Dowdle mania continues. Another 200-plus yard from scrimmage game for Dowdle in relief of Chuba Hubbard. And I don't know if this says more about how porous the Cowboys defense is, Mark, or how much of a groove the Panthers are starting to get offensively. It might be a little bit of both, but that might be the signature loss of the season for the Cowboys. Meanwhile, the Panthers got to be feeling pretty good about yourselves right now as you sit in 3-3.
The touchdown throw to Tet for a touchdown, his first of the game, which was in the middle of the second quarter. I made a note, like, that's a great throw. Like, that's what you drafted Bryce Young. You're like, that's the guy, right? Like, where it's like, hey, he can push the ball down, not like a 60-yard bomb, but a nice seam route up the sideline, like accurate in stride. I also thought it was a really nice touchdown throw later in the game he had to doubt him. Dak was fantastic. If I am Brian Schottenheimer and I'm Jerry Jones, I'm sitting there and I'm going, we scored 27 points at Carolina on the road. You got to win that game. And let's be honest, you only ran the ball 19 times for 31 yards. So this was all Dak, and he was great. 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's been statistically top 3 quarterback in the NFL this year. George Pickens has been absolutely a hair on fire. He, he's made himself a ton of money. I think he should try to stay with Dak Prescott. They clearly got something going on.
And this is him as the number one. I mean,
and a touchdown.
Get CD back.
So where's like the disconnect? Well, it's defensively for the Cowboys. They don't have no one, and they're not like decimated by injury. Matt Eberflus is no longer a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Like, he was looking back now, Matt Eberflus was a defensive coordinator for a Colts defense that was star-studded with Shaquille Barrett and guys who just retired. Like, I mean, really, really good personnel. And since that moment, he has been not deserving of a leadership role, either head coach or defensive coordinator, since he left that job. It's bad. Like, defensively, it's bad. Guys are wide open. I mean, like, and again, it's the Panthers. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. And they are 3-0 at home. Like, they're playing well at home. But your offense did enough. And we're critical of Brian Schottenheimer before the season hired. Like, who is this guy? Worst head coach. Why are you giving him a chance? He is coaching the offense. 27 points. Dak is rolling. They need to get the run game going, in this game. And it's been going. Javonte Williams has been good, really good so far this year. So it's not like it's been a disaster all year. This was a bad game for the run game.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rico Dowdle's a great story. I think the story of this game is the Cowboys fall to 2-3-1 when they probably should be 3-2-1, but they just do not have a quality coached defense right now. It is embarrassingly bad. Panthers are now frisky at 3-3. Listen, if you can win every home game, you're going to sniff the playoffs. And so if you're Carolina, can you find a way to transfer some of this magic at home to the road? This was the best game of Bryce Young's career. 199 yards, 3 touchdowns. The interception, what really wasn't his fault, and it was off the hands, like not off the helmet or hands. I can't remember what, but it wasn't really his fault. Damn, like the Cowboys, they got to look at this one and just be sick defensively. It's just bad. Their game against Washington on Sunday is massive. They are.
Oh yeah,
Washington. Yeah. And as we said for the Panthers, you're at the Jets. And if you're the Panthers now, you have to expect to win that game. Like you got to say to yourself, we have a real chance here to get to 4-3 against a team that we're better than. So find a way to go win that game on the road.
The Seattle Seahawks beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-12. Both teams now 4-2 on the season. Mark, I thought Trevor actually looked good and played well overall in this game. Neither team could run the football remotely well, and that's the thing that's plagued Jacksonville the last 3 weeks or so. I also don't understand the Kenneth Walker getting 10 carries type, like he's so much better and deserving of more, I think, in Seattle's offense. But it was once again Sam Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba. And for the, and no offense was lighting it up. But for Jacksonville in particular, way too many 3-and-outs. They were on the field for 20 seconds and back on the sidelines. And that'll kill you in a game like this, especially with a talented opponent.
So all the talk this year has been about, oh my God, Puka Nacua is on pace for 2,000 yards, and Matt Stafford and him are going to break the record maybe, and Stafford's going to do it with
JSN,
another.
baby.
Jackson Smith-Njigba is leading the league in reception yards now. 162 and a touchdown. Him and Darnold have found something really special. Really, really special. Seattle, 26 carries for 60 yards as a team rushing. I don't know where that went, but the defense was giving them passing lanes, and they took advantage of it. Darnold was sacked 1 time. Lawrence was sacked 7 times. I watched this game, and I thought to myself, Sam Darnold right now is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looks unpolished still. The sacks, at least 3 of them, that I was like, that's blatantly on Trevor. Like, what are you freaking doing? Like, get rid of the ball. You're too big. You're too smart. You're too athletic to be holding on for that long and taking dumb sacks like that. I will let the stat story say about Trevor Lawrence, he is a dinker and dunker as well. He is ranked 25th in the average completion, 6.3. Again, he's behind Fields. He's behind Hurts. He's behind Geno Smith. It's not where it needs to be for Trevor Lawrence. They went and got you 2 years in a row 2-star big playmaking receivers. Now, it was a great throw he had to Brian Thomas Jr. on 3rd down. He dropped it on that 3rd down that killed that drive in the 4th quarter when they're down 20-12, and maybe it looked like they can get back in it. It's just not
it's not gelling.
It's not gelling, and it's not good enough. It was so predictable they'd lose this game. They're coming off the biggest win of their season. They're coming off the biggest win of Jacksonville in maybe 5-6 years since that playoff run. And of course, Trevor Lawrence and them kind of poop the bed. He gets sacked 7 times, and they look unpolished. And Jacksonville at times looks unpolished. Trevor looks unpolished. Is it they are taking the lead from him? It's just an organizational thing that he's trapped in? Either way, and in their win against the Chiefs, he was unpolished, but it was like he made enough plays. Eventually, you've already been paid. It's year 5. Like what's it going to take? Right now, I'd say Darnold's the better quarterback than Lawrence. His deep ball to JSN in the middle of the second to go up 10-6 was a thing of freaking beauty.
Yeah, it was so good. They've got chemistry.
Seattle at 4-2 feels way better than Jags at 4-2. Jags feel like, hey, we're 4-2. Like, this is pretty cool. Seattle feels like we're 4-2. We probably should be 5-1, and we're playing really good football.
I mean, more importantly for both as well, they are keeping pace in their division. Now, Jacksonville's got some legitimate competition in Indy, and we know Seattle's got legitimate competition in the Rams and the 49ers. We'll get to that a little bit later. I do want to save, some time for us to really dive into the final 4 games of the season. So if you don't mind, Mark, maybe I'll kind of rapid fire off these
let's go for it.
3 games.
And
if you've got any commentary on them, feel free. But I think these are probably the least consequential games of the week. The Rams predictably beating the Ravens 17-3. Lamar Jackson not in this game once again. Any takeaways?
Ravens need the bye. They're on the bye. The defense played better, only giving up 17 points. Maybe that was had something to do with the fact that the Rams were kind of playing with their food. The Nacua injury, we got to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, no question. That's definitely something to keep an eye on. And for the Ravens, maybe you could start to unleash Derrick Henry a little more. He ran well as one of the bright spots of the game for Baltimore. Raiders win 20-10 over the Titans. Raiders 2-4, Titans 1-5. I don't know. Gross game. I
Yeah,
don't have anything.
we talked about the thing is, like, for the Raiders, like, you had to win that game. You got the win. Good for you. The Titans, again, it was such an ugly performance that led to their coach getting fired. We talked about that.
Yeah,
I
burn
will
it.
say, yeah, if you are the Raiders, you can't like hang your hat on this win, but again, it stops some bleeding, right? It steadies
Sure.
the waters a little bit.
Finally, the Packers 27-18 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Packers seem to be in control throughout this game. Josh Jacobs running all over. It really did seem like the Bengals defense just kind of gave up towards the end of this game for sure. But Joe Flacco's first game in Cincinnati looked better as the game wore on for him. Probably gonna get more production out of him moving forward, it seems. But yeah, Green Bay now 3-1 and 1 on the season.
Jordan Love did what he did. He threw an ugly pick in the first drive. It was really ugly, and then they responded really well. Listen, the Bengals showed the sign of life was that 17-play, 78-yard drive in the third quarter. It was a thing of beauty. Cut the game to 10-7. How did the Packers respond? The next drives, touchdown, field goal, boom, game over. So
Yeah.
like the Packers can turn it on. I will say Packers defense, Dan, they're allowing 280 yards per game. That's fifth least in the NFL. So they're holding teams to yards, but a -1 turnover differential. They are not sacking the quarterback. Only 12 sacks on the year, and that's bottom half. And they are not getting turnovers. And their quarterback, guaranteed once a game, is going to throw an ugly interception. So that leaves them teetering for me a little bit. They have a game at Arizona next week. You'd like, if you're a Packers fan, to see them kind of like blow out the Cardinals and get that mojo back.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. The Buccaneers get to spend a little bit of time on this game. 30-19 victory over the San Francisco 49ers. Bucs are now 5-1. Baker Mayfield having a great season so far. And I don't know, Mark. I know some people have floated this around, so it's not like I'm pulling this out of thin air, but MVP caliber play from Baker Mayfield in 2025 so far. I mean, fourth in the league in passing yards. He has 1 interception on the season, 12 touchdowns, and he just pulls off these drives where you need to will your team to victory, and he's done it consistently. And we saw it with that incredible run late in this game as well. For them to put this thing on ice and win by 11 against the talented 49ers team, pretty impressive stuff. Not to mention the Bucs defense really making life difficult for Mac Jones. No touchdowns, 2 picks for Mac Jones in this game. Also sacked 6 times. So a lot of things coming together for Tampa, but it's Baker that makes this thing run.
Yaya Diaby with 2 sacks. Really good play from the Bucs defense. Baker Mayfield's run on that third down. And when you watch the highlight, it's like, how is he still going? How is he still going? How have they not tackled him? He is a stud. There is, I think, probably only 2 quarterbacks in the league that I would say their team loves them equally to, or just as much, or maybe a little bit more, and like rally for them. And that's like the Lions with Goff and the Chiefs with Mahomes. Like the love, the rally, the leadership of Baker with that organization, it's incredible. He deserves all the credit. Dan, he's got Emeka Ibuka injured in this game. So after that, he's got Sterling Shepard, Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson. Like, who are
just
these
nobody?
guys?
Yeah, a bunch of nobodies. Also, no Bucky Irving, and obviously no Mike
Irving.
Evans and Chris Godwin.
So it's just so impressive what he's doing. McCaffrey looked good. 17 runs, 54 yards, touchdown, 7 catches, 57 yards. I will say
their offense right now, man.
One of the things the Niners, you're obviously waiting for your quarterback and Kittle to get back, and Brandon Ayuk. But Dan, you lose now Fred Warner for probably the most of the year. Like,
Yeah, we've
at
already
what,
had Nick Bosa injured.
at
Yeah,
what point in time do we just look at the Niners and we're like, they're lucky to be 4-2. Well, maybe they earned 4-2, but they're going to be lucky if
yeah.
they can survive
The
not
wheels are
going below
falling off.
500. Yeah, they and Mac Jones, I thought he still played overall pretty damn good. Like, I don't think there's anything that Purdy would have done better than Mac Jones in that game.
Fair. Yep.
And the game was back and forth. Like, I mean, I know it's 30-19, but it was 20-19 after San Francisco started the third quarter with a field goal. After that, they went punt, pick, downs in the fourth quarter. So it just was they couldn't get going in the fourth. They have a giant game against Atlanta next week, home against Atlanta for the 49ers. Will Purdy play? Will Kittle be back? That's what we have to keep an eye on for. And the Bucs at Lions Monday Night Football next week is the game of the week next week. And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a game that could early in the season decide who has the road to the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, and I think we both put the Bucs atop our power
number
rankings.
1. Yeah, number 1 for me.
They are so deserving of that. They have played the most complete football this season, and they've beaten good teams as well. So really a total team effort led by just one of the hottest quarterbacks to play right now. Baker Mayfield's like playing at a different level. The Chiefs beat the Lions 30-17. This game felt, I think, a little bit more dominant from the Chiefs than it actually was, right? Because the Chiefs did have 2 different, instances of double-digit leads in this game. But the Lions were always kind of hanging around, right?
Yeah,
and
it was
then they would get
20-17
close
in the fourth.
Yeah, and they would get close, and then Patrick Mahomes would lead the team down an unlikely drive, whether it's Hollywood Brown or Mahomes carrying it himself late there as well. The Chiefs just kept answering the Lions' responses, and the Lions just weren't able to put enough of a complete game together in this one. They also weren't running the ball terribly well on top of it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I felt that this showed that the Chiefs are still a really, really, really good team and not a team to be taken lightly. And I think it also showed like, okay, the Lions lost. That's a tough one. Take it on the chin.
Yeah.
But they're 4-2, and I think they're going to be fine.
No panic from the Lions. The only thing I would say is like Montgomery only getting 4 rushes in this game. It does. It's like it's not right. Like that's a physical football game. You need to set the tone. I love Gibbs, but 17 carries to Montgomery's 4 in this game. It should be more like 12 and 12, and then Gibbs gets the 9 targets, right? Like the receptions. It just didn't seem like that game plan was right. Also, 0 penalties on KC. Is that refs? Is that KC tidying it up? They're a smart veteran team. I don't know, but it certainly stood out to me. I will say this. The Chiefs now feel like, okay, hey, we were without Rice, and then we lost Worthy for 3 weeks. You have all of this offensive chaos, and we can look ourselves in the mirror and go, we're 3-3. We're looking up at 2 4-2 teams who we feel very confident that we own. And an AFC where you look at, you go, Buffalo's not leading their division. The Ravens aren't leading their division. If I'm the Chiefs, I'm kind of looking around like, you're kind of looking around like, oh shit, like that. We're good. Like we're good. Yeah. I put the Chiefs high in my.
Didn't win the Super Bowl last year. It's not like they're having like a hangover of sorts. It's like this team is fired up. This team is wanting to get back.
Listen, I think the key for them will be like Mahomes is playing more like Mahomes of the MVP era, 4 total touchdowns. He needs to just keep owning it. Kelsey looked good, 6 catches, 78 yards. Chiefs, they have the Raiders at home. They need to just put up 45 points, offensive explosion, feel really good about themselves. Mahomes, go throw 4 touchdowns and get out of that game in the third quarter. And then, of course, Detroit hosting the Bucs on Monday Night Football. That will be if you could tell your wife you got one game to watch besides your own game, Monday Night Football. Can't wait for that.
The Falcons beat the Bills by 10, 24-14. Penix did look good. He had a connection with Drake London early and often in this game. Bijan Robinson, obviously, once again, was the story of the Falcons game. But also, man, that defense just rattled Josh Allen, got after him quite a bit. What was it, 6 sacks? I don't have the box score open right now, but it was
4 sacks,
it was the 4
2
sacks.
interceptions.
Some of them were impactful for sure. And yeah, the 2 picks as well. So it wasn't his finest game. This is another thing where I kind of feel similarly about the Lions, except the opponent they lost to was definitely inferior. So that's the one where you're like, man, that's a game where you circle. So I don't know if this was a trap game, but now this is back-to-back weeks, Mark. They got to get out of the slump fast, because dropping 2 straight can quickly spiral. I don't think it will for Buffalo, but it also signals they're a mortal team for sure.
Yeah, the comp to me is the Eagles. Like you both start off 4-0, and you both lose 2 games, which your offense sputters really poorly in both games. Dan, so here we go. Remember what I said about the Eagles? If you don't remember, I know that was a long time ago. I'm going to try to find it. It was this. The Eagles in the second half, they go punt, 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 interception, fumble. That was the Eagles' second half. Punt, 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 interception, fumble. The Bills, after their first drive of the first half, which was a touchdown, they were up 7-0. They went punt, 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 interception. First drive of the second half for the Bills, touchdown. They scored 14 points this game. There's your 2 touchdowns. After that, downs, punt, punt, INT. So what that tells me is 2 things. The Buffalo Bills right now, off script, when it came down to making plays, either Josh Allen wasn't seeing it, Raheem Morris and that defense was just confusing the blank out of them, or, which I think is the more truthful culprit, Dalton Kincaid missed this game. He's become one of the top 3 tight ends in the NFL. He has been Josh Allen's number 1 guy. And so when you lose your number 1 guy and you start looking around at the Shakirs and the Colemans and the guys, it just, no one stepped up to be like, oh, I'm gonna Lad McConkey this. I'm gonna make it happen today. And Josh was left playing hero ball, and he struggled. Listen, Josh Allen, I think we've all said it many, many times. He is probably the second best quarterback in the NFL. He's probably one of the top 3 players in the NFL. I think it's fair to say he is. But we're allowed to criticize him when he doesn't play well. And I think he got too much in his head, too much hero ball. I also think there's a coaching issue. At some point in time, after that second punt in the first half, someone, the coach, the offensive coordinator, like someone has to go to Josh Allen and say, let's grab the face mask a little bit and be like, let's steady this ship. And no one did that. Mm-hmm. Josh was left to his own devices. And we've seen this happen for Mahomes. We've seen it happen for Allen. We've seen it happen for Lamar in big spots. Sometimes even the best of the best can get just really wild, really loose. And you saw that. I'm not panicking if I'm Buffalo. You're 4-2. You're a really good football team. You have
got to win next week, though.
But now, yes, you're at the Panthers after the bye. So you have a bye week. Get Kincaid healthy. Then your next game is at Carolina. They're really good at home. So take that game seriously and go out there and beat Carolina in 2 weeks. Atlanta, Sunday Night Football against the Niners. Now that's a really interesting matchup. If the Niners have Purdy and Kittle, they're at home. Atlanta's coming off a giant win. Both teams above 500. That's going to be a really fun Sunday Night Football game. Atlanta at 49ers.
Agreed. I didn't think that would be the case.
Even if Purdy is not starting, it's going to be then a fascinating watch still.
Sure.
For the Niners who can't afford to fall to a 4-3.
All right, let's get to the Monday night finale. Your Chicago Bears 1-point victory over the Washington Commanders. A little revenge there, 25-24. I thought both quarterbacks played really well in this game. Of course, Jaden Daniels gets the box score accolades there with 3 passing touchdowns in this one and 52 yards on the ground. But Caleb was efficient. Really made good decisions, got out of some bad situations. DeAndre Swift came up big late in this game And, ultimately it leads to a 1-point victory. Your Bears are now 3-2. Have at it, sir.
Well, Jay Daniels also gets the box score celebration of the horrible red zone interception and the fumble that lost them the football game in the fourth quarter. So he can take those box score victories as well.
Yes.
My guy in the box score threw for more yards and also accounted for a rushing touchdown as well. And so I think my guy did pretty good in the box scores as well. I'll say this: I think some of the key things I want to talk about with the Chicago Bears was what I really loved about this game was it came out off a bye and they bucked a trend. Okay, that's coaching. For the first time in 21 games or 20 games, something like that, an absurd amount of games. It's over 20 games. The Chicago Bears won a game in which their opponent scored 23 or more points.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like that's amazing, right? Like that's way to go. Also, the Chicago Bears right now, Dan, right now, I have the stat here, are 11th in passing yards per game, and they are 10th in points per game. They have more points per game than the Rams, the Vikings, New England, and a bunch of others. So this is a slow but really positive sign that the coaching is working in Chicago. I also trust people that I listen to in like ESPN 1000, some other people who've talked about today, that it still feels like Ben Johnson is in the vanilla ice cream part of his offense and his playbook, that he's still just getting the base going. We saw the one trick play with the Hail Mary, but we're still really just getting this base churning. I'm really excited to see what this offense looks like week 10, week 11, week 12. Listen, the fumble changed the game, the huge touchdown by Swift. And I also will say this, I'm really proud of my Bears for being up early, 13-0. And then all of a sudden they find themselves down 24-16 early in the fourth. That's a game they lose. I've seen them lose a million times. Oh, early lead. Now they're down. Now it's impossible. Now they stink and it's over. And yet when they were down 24-16, they came out, they put a drive together in which they found DeAndre Swift for that big 55-yard touchdown catch. And all of a sudden it's 24-22. Pressure is back on Washington. Listen, Caleb Williams is not Matt Stafford. He's not. But you know what statistically, if you look at him, I was doing a little deep dive. So it's hard because he's only played 5 games. So you got to look at averages compared to the guys who played 6 games with the early bye. If you look at averages and you look at who has played 5 games, his numbers are identical to a guy that I've always said is a talented guy, but I have questions about, Jordan Love. Why do I have questions about Jordan Love? What did we say? He throws horrendous interceptions. He throws laughable interceptions. You know what Caleb Williams doesn't do? He doesn't turn the ball over. He gives you all of this kind of wild, like he's like a wild stallion at times. And you look at him like, what are you doing? Oh my God, he's an artist. And he's only completing 62%, not 70%. I don't give a rip about that because Caleb's not going to be a 68, 70% completion guy.
It's not his game. Yeah.
It's not his game. His game is I'm gonna do some crazy shit. And it's gonna work. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to turn the ball over in horrendous fashion. Imagine what the national media would be saying today if Caleb Williams had a lead late in the fourth and fumbled that ball in a handoff.
Right. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. No, he has been mistreated, I would say, in terms of the
but that's what you get for being the number 1 pick. That's what you get. And he wears it.
Yes, but we've been talking about it. We didn't hear a peep about Cam Ward getting drafted in the first place. And so I guess on the flip side, he's benefiting now from not being talked about. But if Caleb Williams was having the season Cam Ward is having currently last year.
Yep. And you know what?
Everybody would be out after him.
And again, the Bears get that fumble. And what do? There's a big third down. They're at midfield. They have Jake Moody. It is now raining hard at this point in time. It is soaking wet. And they trust Caleb Williams to do what? Throw the ball and he efficiently finds a first down to Colston Loveland, who was back, got him involved a little bit. And what do? They then run the ball a couple times to DeAndre Swift. They set themselves up. They take off 3 minutes on the clock to get it down to 3 seconds left, and they kick a game-winning field goal. That is not my Chicago Bears. It's just not. Like, that is not my Chicago Bears. Even my Chicago Bears, and I'm like, oh, well, these are my Bears. They were Brian Urlacher making 18 tackles against Arizona in the second half and being like, the Bears are who we thought they were. Like, and us just going like, well, we got.
And Devin Hester returning kicks for sure.
So this is unheard of. There's a couple stats I want to throw out really quickly. Caleb Williams is the only Chicago Bear in their 108-year history to start the season with over 200 yards passing and at least one touchdown per game.
Yeah.
So again, you may say that's not a lot, but what are they doing? Coaching and talent are doing something in Chicago we've never seen before. I'm not sitting here saying the Chicago Bears are a Super Bowl contender. I'm not. But what I'm telling you is we are truly seeing an arrow pointing slowly but surely in a different direction. The Bears had lost 28 consecutive games when they allowed 23 points or more. Now they've won 2 in a row under Ben Johnson. That's the stat because they did against the Raiders last week and then this week. So let's like, I'm just trying to again start planting these seeds for our non-Bears listeners. What we're seeing here truly is a mix of the coaching and the talent, right? And we've had talent before and we've lacked coaching. We've had coaching before and we've lacked talent. And now we're finally starting to see like a real good mix of it. For Washington, let's really quickly talk about them. They're at Dallas next week. They're 3-3. Dallas is 2-3-1. Those are two desperate teams. That's going to be a really, really interesting.
Yeah, Washington has to make up for the lost time.
Yeah, the Bears are +8, best turnover differential in the NFL. Washington gave them 3 turnovers in this game. Listen, the Bears made the great pick. It was a horrible throw by Jay Daniels. He shouldn't have thrown the ball. The Bears took advantage of it. The Bears didn't cause Jay Daniels to fumble. He fumbled. The Bears took advantage of it. So 2 of those turnovers were gifts, right? So Washington has to clean that up. I will say that the Bill fumble was Sweat like getting a paw in there and causing a fumble. So credit to them for that one. So if you're Washington, listen, I'm not panicking, but again, you're coming off an NFC Championship surprise berth. And right now I feel like this team is not as buttoned up and not as talented maybe at times as they were last year. So
sure, I think
they have to be a little bit more buttoned up. You cannot give another team 3 turnovers, a +3 turnover margin at home. You're going to lose that game, and the football gods made it happen. I mean, listen, the Bears had a kick blocked and they won a game. That doesn't happen in my lifetime. Yeah. So it's very, very exciting. 3 sacks for Caleb. One of them was really his fault. That weird run to the sideline. It's like, what are you doing? And then he tried to he got hit in the face. It's just weird. Overall, he's still getting sacked way less than last year. So that's good. The penalties, the Bears got persecuted on penalties.
They got hosed, man.
Dude, that should have been a touchdown to Rome Odunze. The Colston Loveland pass interference was absolute horse, you know what? And the roughing the passer call, the head swipe, I would say it's a no call because it's not an egregious. They're swiping at the ball as they're throwing, and it makes contact with the face mask. It's not like when you're like almost sack a quarterback and then you kind of like shove him. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, oh, fuck you, dude. Like protect the quarterback. That was all within the fairness of the football field. Like, and it wasn't a whack to the head. It was a swipe down that caught the face mask. Like, so I think the Bears got really like it was almost like it felt targeted at times. I know that's probably not true, but the Bears have to win against the Saints. It's a must win at home against the Saints.
A very important game
because they play the Ravens then after the bye. So the Bears have Saints, Ravens. You're 3-2. Get to 4-2, and then maybe you can catch the Ravens still rusty and Lamar not 100% healthy, and you can win that game somehow. I don't know, but at least if you win against the Saints, it creates the buffer where you stay above 500.
Absolutely. No, yeah, this was a good continual step in the right direction, and you just got to build on it. Yeah, can't fall into the trap of the Saints next week or lose that game and then fall right back into the roller coaster. So just keep it going. Absolutely. Great stuff.
We have winning football in the football lounge right now. 2 above 500.
We do. This is very exciting. Probably
it's very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. I was going to say this is our 6th season doing it.
Well, wait, how did the Steelers start off last year? Because the Bears, remember, they were above 500 when they lost to Washington.
No, yeah, it would have been last year then because the Steelers started strong last year.
Yeah, the Bears started strong.
They were 4-2 because remember Justin Fields won 4-2 as a starter, and they pulled him.
But the vibes feel different for both teams.
They do. They feel like legitimate, quality teams right now versus just, playing with house money type of thing. So, all right. Well, we'll be back for week 7, another great slate. Tune into Monday Night Football. Be sure if you don't watch anything else, watch that game, and we'll see you here next week.